Hi, my name is Maria Holt, and in this presentation, I'm going to show you the Rillion AI solution and how to implement it in your Rillion Prime environment. First, I will give you an introduction to what Rillion AI is. Then we're going to look at the setup, what you can do, what parameters that is in the system. And then I'm going to show you how you can work with it in your invoice log with your invoices, and then a short just to go through the steps you could take to get this in full production. But let's start up with this. So introduction to Rillion AI. So Rillion AI is an AI or machine learning model that we are creating in our application to generate posting proposals for incoming invoices. This is an add-on feature, and if you're looking at this video, you probably already have it implemented in your Rillion Prime environment. So what we do is that we are sending your historical invoices into our AI engine, and then we analyze this and create a model based on the historical invoices. And then when you get invoices, those invoices will get a proposal of the coding based on the historical invoices. So hopefully this will limit the manual work that you need to do today when you're posting invoices, and also so you don't have to do so much configuration in the application. And any changes that you do on an invoice, no matter where in the process, will also be reported back to the model, so it will be better and better over time. But I will talk more about that later on. So this is how it looks like. If you do work with purchase orders or contracts or so, then those invoices will work in the same way as they do today. The coding will come from the purchase order or the contract. So those are set aside and we don't work with those in the AI engine. But the other invoices, the cost invoices, when you do get a new invoice into the application, it will first go in the matching engine to validate if this is an order or contract invoice. If not, then it goes into the AI engine. And here we are then making a prediction of the coding based on the model that has been created for you. So each customer have their own model that we are looking into, and then we are giving a prediction. You will see this in the application, and then you can send the invoice out for approval to the organization. When the invoice has been approved and it's sent for booking and payment in your ERP system, we will also take back the account coding that is the final account coding to the AI engine. And if there are any changes that has been done on the coding, we would use that to relearn the model. So the model will be better and better over time due to that we are taking back your changes to the coding. So this is what we have. And when you are to use this, there are some settings that you could work with to get this more adjusted to your organization. Now let's look at the company settings first. So on a company level, you can first of all select if you would like to use AI or not on that specific company. So if you have a lot of companies, you could have different companies using the AI differently. There are 4 parameters on a company today, and let's start with the first one, and that is if you would like to enable AI matching for invoices for that specific company. Under that, you have 3 different options. No, and that is by default set to no, and then you need to activate it. And then you can select from only manually, meaning that the AP user will send the invoice for AI posting manually. I will show you how that is done later on. And you can also set automatically, meaning that all invoices for this company that is a subject for AI posting, I will talk more about that later on as well, will go to the AI engine automatically. So that's the first one, to activate it or not activated on a company level. The second parameter is regarding the confidence levels, because we will give you a confidence level per coding dimension and coding line. And here you have some settings to tell if we should set the transfer flag in the invoice log based on the confidence level. I often start with all here, but you could change it later on, for example, saying I only want to have the transfer flag if the confidence level is high, or only medium and high. So this is something that you can adjust later on. Maybe you don't have to do it from start. The third parameter is do not use AI prediction on following fields. For example, if you're working a lot with projects and you have a lot of new projects coming in all the time and it varies a lot, there is no historical data for us to look at. It's very hard for us to maybe find a pattern. Then you could say, well, let's exclude that part from the AI. This is not something that you maybe work with from the beginning, but maybe something that you could find out later on that there is maybe a dimension that you would like to exclude. So from the beginning it will be blank, but you could work with it to fine-tune your setup if you like. If you would like to do it, then you will see what dimension this is. And in the database, it's called object 1, object 2, object 3, 4, and so on. So we just need to see where you have this object that you would like to exclude, and then you just put in 03, 04, for example. That's the way to exclude it. And the last parameter is reference match will be used if AI prediction number of account posting lines are more than. When you use an AI coding to create the posting lines, it could be that it's tricky if it's too many lines. And if you feel that you get not so good results in the AI coding, if it's more than, let's say, 3 lines, then it might be better to say that, well, if it's more than 3 lines, then let's use reference matching instead. This is also something that you could activate later on if you feel that you have some issues with invoices that is distributed over many lines. So let's not do it right now, but you have it as a setting that you can apply later on if needed. There are also 2 parameters on a supplier level that you could work with. And that is more if we are to activate AI or not on a supplier level. So if you would like to exclude a specific supplier from AI, you could just say it's not enabled for AI matching. You don't have to go in and tick this on all. You just untick it if you don't want to have AI on a specific supplier. The other here is type of matching. That is most often set to automatic match, meaning that Rillion will decide what type of matching we are to use on this invoice or this supplier, saying should we use reference matching, AI matching, PO matching, contract matching. So automatic is most often set, but if you would like to hard code on a specific supplier that here we should always do AI matching or always do reference matching, you can select a type of matching in this. So like here I said, always use AI matching, don't try the other ones. So that's the settings. And then it's time to start working with it. The only thing you have to do from the things we have looked into is to activate it on a company level. The rest is just fine tuning. So when you go into the invoice log, let's say I have automatic matching set on my company. If you then open up an invoice in the invoice log, you will see type of matching, AI matching in the header. The invoice has gotten a proposal from the AI. And you can see the match status here. So high confidence we are on this matching. And here it can be anything from high, medium to low, or that we couldn't do a matching actually. It could say that no AI matching was found, and that's when we don't have anything to look at. There is no patterns that we can use, and then we'll also tell that. The transfer flag is set based on the settings on the company. So in this case, high confidence, and then we have said, yes, set a transfer flag. Let's send this out to the organization to work with the coding. If we are using automatic match, this is the cascading matching logic. We start with PM matching, then contract matching. We can get pre-coded invoices, and then we do the AI, and then the reference matching. So if you had setting automatic on a supplier level, this is the order that we are going to look into. So AI before reference matching. If we look at the lines, the full invoice, so the invoice in the invoice log has received an AI coding suggestion. And then we can see here on the lines. And more than one line could be set by the AI. As I said, it might be that if it's too many lines, it's better to use reference matching, but that you will figure out yourself if needed in your organization. Good to know is that the lines that we create is not based on the lines on the invoice image. We do use the invoice image to look at the data that's there, all the values and so on, but we don't create one posting line per invoice line because that could be many lines. So instead we are looking at historical invoices and try to look how you have distributed those before, if you have split the cost over different departments or whatever. The prediction that we will generate is on the GL account, your dimensions. In this example, I have cost center and project. We will also predict the VAT code and the amount. And also if you work with distributions, then we will also show that as an example. The VAT lines are not generated based on the AI. The VAT lines will be created in the same way as they are today based on the cost lines. So we predict the cost lines and then we calculate the VAT lines. Here we can see same invoice but in a bigger view. So here we can see that the predictions, and if it's green, that's high, yellow, that's medium, and red, low prediction. And if we look at the levels that actually stands for, is that green, high, that's above 75% security. Yellow, medium, it's above 50, and red, low, is below 50. If you do a change of the posting in here, if I change the cost center or the project, for example, then the color coding will disappear, of course, because then it's done manually, and then we will use that to relearn in the model. So the invoice is then sent out to the organization, to the approval flow that has been set. And the outcome and the confidence level that we did see in the invoice log is actually not visible for the end users. They don't have to know how the coding was created, if it was from reference matching or AI or something else. So for them, it will look exactly the same as before you implemented AI. But if they do a change to the coding, no matter how small it is, if they are changing cost center or how it's distributed or whatever, then we will take that information back to the AI engine. And once again, we use it for the retraining of the model. So for the end users, you don't have to do any like trainings or introduction, because they will not see anything regarding the AI out in the flow. So that are the things you need to know and the settings that you can work with in your AI setup. So from now on, what can you do to go to production? So when your model has been created, and that is if you have purchased the AI model, the AI module, sorry, and we have set up now the model is created, then you are ready to create coding predictions. And these are some recommended steps for go live. I would start with manual matching on a pilot company or few companies. And then what you do is to go in to the invoice log and change matching type on an invoice in the invoice log to AI matching. And when you have done that, you are pressing the match button. Then the invoice is sent for AI coding, and you will see that as a status on the invoice, sent for AI. This can take a few seconds, sometimes up to a few minutes before you get the result. But this is just to do the first pilot. Then it's good to be in control. After a few seconds or minutes, you can validate the result. You will see this on the invoice, in the invoice log. I often actually go out from the invoice and then wait for it to be done, and then you go back into the invoice again. You will see the coding. You can update and change if needed, and then you send it to a workflow. And once again, all changes that you do both in the invoice log and out in the workflow is sent back to the model. And after you have done this pilot, you decide how long pilot you would like to have. It's just one company for 1 week, or how do you want to do this? Then you can activate automatic matching for selected companies or all companies. And after that, the invoices will go automatically via the AI model before they come into the invoice log. And you will get the proposal when you open up the invoice in your invoice log directly. So not much that you have to do, but just activate it on a company and then maybe later on work on those parameters to fine tune your AI setup. So that was all I had to go through in the AI implementation, and I wish you all good luck. Thank you.